there's Jerry. So, what's up?
How you guys doing today? How's it going so far?
Good. I'm somehow not as tired today as I was yesterday. Maybe I got used to it a little. My voice didn't, though. My voice is slowly going away.
I see over 5 hours you guys been on here.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
This is the first time I'm actually using Twitch. So it's going to Twitch, Periscope, and like Facebook, a bunch of stuff on Facebook. So
YouTube.
Nobody's really watching. There's like 4 people, but still. People are coming in and out. I think I'm the viewer on Twitch. I don't know how to like make it really work on Twitch yet. I haven't really done anything on that yet.
I'm not the technical guy, so.
Yeah. So who are you and what do you do?
My name is Jerry Chatlin. I am the creator of E4 Comics and the creator and writer of the comic book called The Elements. It's me. I have an artist that I work with named Jay Onagi, who does the artwork, and 3 other creators that work with me, either to give me ideas, edit, co-creators, stuff like that. So there's about, I want to say 6, 7 of us that try to work together on this project, and as of right now, we have book 0, issue 0 that's out. That book was created 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the first time it was put out there, and we pretty much just sold local friends work, and stuff like that, and we got pretty good reviews on it and stuff. But it's literally this year, because of what's been happening with COVID, it's why we've been on Instagram trying to like push it out, build the following and everything, and it's been working pretty well for us so far, and as bad as COVID is, there are actually few good things that's come out of it. I've got introduced to the indie community. I've been meeting a lot of great people that's been giving me pointers, helping me out, in the background and stuff, and I've made quite a few friends doing that. So I'm very grateful, for that aspect of the indie community, So right now I'm currently working on issue 1, which I would say is about 90% done, which I would hopefully have out by next year, early next year.
Are you running a Kickstarter or anything for that? Or are you just going to like print it?
Yeah, I would definitely like to run a Kickstarter so that way I can just jump on making issue 2 and 3 right off the bat after releasing issue 1. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I was hoping to be able to do it before Christmas, like maybe early November, but then my artist broke his hand.
Oh,
so, yeah.
That's kind of important.
So that kind of, held us back. So then it was like, even if I finished it now, do I really want to put anything out near Christmas? Like a
Kickstarter. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like some people that say there's no bad time to do a Kickstarter. I think there's bad time to do a Kickstarter, and that's one of them.
Exactly.
We have a guy. He was supposed to be on, but he busy or something earlier, and he was trying to put his comic out, Donner Lane, last year, and it didn't get funded because it was like good, and it's just like around the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why. That's the only reason. I think, because I wanted it to get backed. I wanted it to be funded because he was going to put it on our platform if it actually got funded. So.
So yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Then I was talking to someone, and they were telling me, you know what, you might even want to wait till February.
Yeah.
You want to give people like a month to recover.
Like get all the money that they're spending on their Christmas presents and things like that.
Yeah, they got to pay off their credit cards first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm not even thinking of doing a Kickstarter until
March,
July, March or July. No, July, because that's our video game. So
I'm saying last year though, I think when the holiday season came up, we were like, if we were our earliest one was gonna potentially be March.
Yeah,
we moved that all the way to like July.
But February would probably be the first month I would like try to start doing it.
Yeah.
Like, and even if you have like a horror comic or something, you don't need to do it in October. Like our horror anthology, the next one is planned to be on Kickstarter in September, and it's going to go midway through October and end before Halloween, so we can print it and get it out to people by Halloween. We're hoping. So, yeah, we're planning way more stuff out in the future, and we're planning stuff ahead of time, so we don't step on our own shoes. Because
that's the good thing about it, is because now it gets me more time to investigate Kickstarter, how it works. I've been
I can recommend you to 3 podcasts that you can listen to or watch or whatever.
Definitely.
Our podcast, SNC podcast, and then Breakfast Talk. Breakfast Talk is more for creators, I think. It's way shorter. It's shorter episodes. So like, there's actually ones on crowdfunding that we mostly focus it on, and then there's Beards and Comics podcast, which is Catalyst Comics Studios or Studio, and they have a bunch of guests on that actually talk about Kickstarter, and like they go into like the grit and all that stuff about that. And you should definitely listen to like at least one of those podcasts. You'll get also Comics Launch, so there's another one.
The blog article too.
In our blog article, so we failed on crowdfunding in general before.
Yeah.
And we know why now. First, you have to build an audience. I don't even know how many followers you have on like social media in general. You're saying you're networking, so that's like a perfect thing to come out of your mouth. You should be networking. You already have like an issue that you can like show people, so that's pretty cool. We didn't have that. We had nothing. We were just like, we're a business. And they're like, what do you do? Yeah, we have comic coming, but we can't like show you yet. Until we finally had money, until I finally had money for art and all that stuff. So listen to like those podcasts or whatever. I could probably recommend the exact episodes, not right now, but I could recommend the exact episodes for hours that you could listen to. The SNC one is like longer. It can go from anywhere from like 30 minutes to like 3 hours, depending on who we're talking to. Beards and Comics is usually an hour-ish. You can find them on like Spotify or Anchor or whatever. Same with Comics Launch. I don't like completely listen to that. I only listen to it in the beginning of like actually trying to succeed on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And that did help. That's Tyler James. And you want to set like a goal that first you should do the math correctly, because we didn't do that in the beginning. Like
I feel like the main thing people always talk to me about, they're like, you got to make sure you do the math correctly. And it's like, what exactly is the math? And they're like, how much it costs to print a comic, how much is like the mailing fee and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but normally what I've looked at Kickstarter, when I was originally trying to set up my Kickstarter, they give you a place where you can put shipping fee.
Yep. Yeah. So shipping. Okay. So first, before that, so there's a guy, he was going to be on this event, but he just didn't feel it. Russell Nolte, and he has succeeded multiple times on Kickstarter. I think he's the one that has a Kickstarter like calculator, and you can actually figure out like a budget. I know a few people that actually use that calculator, and they have like weird amounts as their goal, but the weird amount is like on purpose. It's like, I need like $3,001 to fund. So something like that, because it's like there's so much math that like people don't think. You have to figure out like shipping. If you're shipping to some places, I know if you're shipping to like Ireland, it's gonna be $25 if you're in the US.
I shipped to Turkey before, and I think it cost me like 18 and change.
Yeah.
To the comic to Turkey, which I don't even think they got yet still. And this is like 3 months ago, you know? So it was like to the point I was just like, you know what? I feel bad. Here's the digital. You know, if you get the hard copy, you get it or whatever. We got to figure out a better way to do this.
Yeah, there's a guy that was in the States. He lived in Virginia, but I didn't know he like moved and like it somehow never showed up by the time he got there. And I don't know. So he like lived in Virginia and then it was sent to that address and then like he never got it for some reason. I don't know what happened. It was the address that he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved to upstate New York again because that's where he's from. And I'm like, I'm gonna just send you stuff that you were supposed to get, but so I still have to do that. But now that I remember, I'm gonna do it because he backed our first Kickstarter, and then like he just wasn't able to get the stuff because like he didn't ever like he wasn't at that location.
Yeah.
But shipping for that was like not that much compared to international. So international, it depends like where it's going. I'm not like a huge. I know everything about all this, but yeah, I had to ship to Finland, Spain, the UK, and Ireland, and all of those was like $25. So that's $100 of just shipping. And that's 4 comics. Well, there's more than 1 comic in the box, but yeah. Then you gotta make sure it's like packed the right way. So you have to buy the shipping materials that don't suck.
Yeah, I received a comic book that I bought, and I had to hit the person up and tell them, it was like, dude, number one thing, you got to protect your comic.
Yeah.
The mailman, you know, they don't care about what the hell's in there. If they can fold it, they're gonna fold it, you know, crumble it, roll it up, stick it in the mailbox. So I was like, you gotta stick it in between cardboard something.
Yeah. There was a mailman that he was like on the road and he was about to put one of the comic books. It's in a Gemini like mailer, one of those cardboard box holder things that a lot of people use, and I actually have like 200 of them here. He was like, I was going out to my car and he actually caught me when I was going to my car, and I was like, yeah, you're not putting that in the mailbox. The mailbox is like this small.
Yeah,
You're not doing that. So he's like, oh, okay, and then he just handed it to me. I was like, yeah, you're not going to destroy that.
Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, my book came in folded and stuff, and I was like, because the person only put it like in a plastic sleeve.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, when people see my book, the first thing they say is like, yo, we love the way you pack your book. That shows how much you care about it, you know, and stuff. And, you know, we really appreciate it. And I was like, yeah, my wife does crafting. You know, that's like her little side hustle. So she does like party favors, you know, and things like that. So her packing is immaculate. Like it has to be perfect. You know, she won't accept anything less than that. So
yeah, you definitely do got to take care of it, because I've gotten boxes that had boxes inside of them and had a hole punched through both of them. So it's like, you know, if that's what can happen if it's a box, you can imagine what can happen if it's a piece of paper. So you definitely got to take care of it.
Yeah, he used to be subscribed to this subscription thing for books called Mentor Box, and one time he got like a hole in the box, but it wasn't in, or there was like something wrong with the book, but like the box wasn't completely destroyed. How did they even do that?
It basically went through the outer box, inside the inner box, and then hit one of the books. Like I'm like, did they shoot a spear gun at this? Like, what the hell did they do? Somebody pumped this with a spike on their shoe? Like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
You see TikTok sometimes of like people acting like this is how FedEx takes care of your boxes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do see like the comics that I back on Kickstarter, and they're like by my landlord's door because people think that's my address, but I'm in the front of the building, and so they're just like laying on the ground, and I'm like, you're so lucky that like the rain doesn't hit over near this part, because then they would be drenched, and then I would be sad. Yeah, so you gotta make sure shipping materials and all that stuff. So the price on that, so you have to figure that out. We had like a spreadsheet for all of this for the one that we just did, and I used it for our horror anthology one too. Like, our one guy Matt was like, "You're really doing like a lot of math for this." I'm like, "Yeah, you got to do that." So I was like, just being like anal about it. I was like, yeah, so like how much would shipping be? Like who are you shipping with? He's like, yeah, we'll figure that out. I'm like, no, I want to figure out now.
Mm.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm gonna go at like Comics Ball Spring. And I was like, okay, so you have to figure that out. Like, who's your printer? And then you got to figure out what the price will be and all that. Then your goal, depending on if you want to make money back from like the art that you know pay for. I don't know how you pay for your art, if you actually like do it, if you either do it yourself or if you don't care of making your money back. I have not really cared about making money back from like I pay out of my own paychecks to like the artists. I would like to not do that, but that's going to come at some point, hopefully next year. I know some people say they don't make a profit until at least their like fifth book. Like, one person actually on here, Luke Stone, and he actually said that. He's like, yeah, I haven't really saw any profit until like my fifth book, and I was like, oh, okay, so.
It's you live and you learn. Like one of my biggest mistakes that I was telling someone last night, you know, I was giving them advice, is when I did book 0 and I was putting it out, I didn't really keep track of a mailing list, emails, numbers. I didn't do anything like that, you know. It was just like people that I figured would be around by the time the next book came out. But I guess I just never expected for the next book to be coming out like 4 years later.
Yeah.
You know, so all those people that were lined up waiting for issues, you know, for the next issue, I'm going to have to try and track down. You know, so now that I know this, you know, the people that recently bought book 0, now I have like their email and everything like that, and it's all set up for that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's always like, damn, all those people that I did lose from back then, you know, I'm eventually gonna have to make up for it.
So we had like two or three versions of our first issue before we went to remaster it for Seer Chronicles. And the first one, we only had like 7 pages made, and then we're like, nope. That just like went away, and nobody will ever see that again. The only people that have ever seen that were people that were on our website that were like, oh, this is part of their comic? That's cool. Oh, this is their comic? Then we got a different artist, and he was a bit better because he knew how to do like sequential slightly. So he just messed up a few things, and like I messed up on my end. Like it was not as much of a script as it was like storyboard. So that was kind of like, yeah, I should have like had it edited. It wasn't really edited. The dialogue was great. It was like just all over the place. So then we're remastering that, so that's why the new version of that's going to be like it's longer and it's just like so much better. We had to figure out all the math for that. Our goal was $1,500, but we didn't need $1,500, so we like over expected like what we thought was going to happen. So I was like, how many backers do we think we're going to get? I was thinking we're going to get 200. We got pretty close to 200. I was like, oh, I wasn't actually thinking 200. I was like being an optimist. So we got like 165 or something like that. And I was like, that's insane.
That's great.
Yeah. So a lot of those were digital, which kind of makes me happy because that's just money for like the next book or something. Yeah. We're also gonna add other things. So like, if you reach out to we have to start doing that. If you reach out to comic book stores that are like local, or if you have one that's still open, reach out to them and try to make like retail packages on your Kickstarter, because I know a few that do that, and they tell me, why haven't you done that yet? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. Catalyst Comics, they do that, and they have like one store that they actually are like super loyal to, and we're gonna start doing that. We actually have somebody that is opening a store like nearby where I am, and she wants like all of the comics on her platform to be in there, like printed. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a lot of money, but yeah. So where was I going with that? Yeah. So
That's actually pretty good because I've been meaning to go to my local comic store and see if I can build like a relationship with them. See, like, you know, if I'd be able to put my books on their shelves, et cetera, see, you know, get feedback, you know, how people feel about it, et cetera, in the area and stuff. Because, you know, I was from Brooklyn, New York, and I, you know, not too long ago moved out to Long Island. So I'm kind of like still learning the areas and everything. So,
Well, and honestly, like if you connect with local comic stores, like that, like they'll be the ones that'll help you know where a lot of the stuff you might not know where it is. Like, so if there's like events or like small comic conventions or small gatherings, like they also might know that those things. Like I would follow them on Facebook, see if they ever host events themselves, see if they ever tag events, and then like follow up with those people and kind of like, you know, spider out your network.
okay. Yeah, I've definitely got to do that. Huh.
What is that? Selling to LCS will really help grow audience if possible. What's LCS? Something comic store?
Local comic store.
yes, yeah.
What's the L stand for?
Local.
Oh, local.
It's not a riddle.
It's a helicopter.
I'm really gonna try knocking over the TV that's on the ground. That fucking cat. Yeah. So yeah, figure out the math. You figure out the all that other stuff. Okay.
Nice.
Was that an ad?
Well, technically, you can find it on the SeerNova Comics platform.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. I have to like next time when we do this, I have to actually figure out like transitions and stuff.
We just need a collection of those. That's all. And then we can just
Yeah.
put those between it. And
That's
then
why
it's
I
like,
want more. Favorite movie is Phantasm. Sure. I tried watching the first one.
We got to get like a video you can play that's like, you know, SeerNova Comics presents, and then you have like, you know, a series of video ads, and then we can come back, and then you do it again. Do different ones. And,
Yeah, we'll do that next year. Yeah.
The next episode of Dragon Balls.
Yeah. Internet things happen. What were we talking about? Kickstarter. Yeah. So, like, what do you think your goal would be for yours?
Money goal, probably I want to put like in the 1,500 to 2,000 range, you know, to fully fund 2 books, because my comics are always 34 pages. That's like the standard that I put myself in. You know, I feel like it gives me, because originally writing my comic, you know, I originally wanted it to be like an anime. I'm an anime guy. You know, that's how I always envisioned it. So when we decided to do it into a comic, it was kind of like, damn, how do you transition, you know, my imagination that I had for an anime to a comic, you know, where you go from motion to still pictures, you know, so while trying to keep the story, you know, as good as you can keep it. So I always felt like 34 pages gave me enough pages to do stories and then action, etc. So that's normally, so with that and me painting an artist, it gets pretty pricey. You know,
It does.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
That's how you show action.
Yeah.
So it says.
I can't wait for like fighting scenes in our comics because we don't really have those yet.
Mm-hmm.
We have like a mugging scene in our original first issue, and that's kind of changed in the remastered version. But we don't have like really that like big of any kind of fight scene yet. But like
Yeah.
I think the third issue might. But Ink 2, our solo series Ink, the second issue has like fighting and like he actually uses his powers and stuff. I can't wait to see that actually like in like a comic.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since me, someone with like a martial arts background. So it's kind of like, yeah, I want to be able to see this motion, and this motion. So you have like one move that'll take up 3, 4 panels alone,
Yeah.
and stuff because I'm trying to make it detailed. And my artist is like, I can keep doing this, but I'm just letting you know, like your comedy's gonna be like 60 pages long if you keep doing this up.
Yeah,
So
that's where you got to get those. Like some of the cool ways you can get around that's just not so many pages. Is you get one of those like splash pages, and then you
mm,
have multiple small panels where like it shows the progression of a single move for one page, and you just
mhm.
get one epic movement, and then you can get a lot of like potential talking done. That's why in anime they're always talking while they're fighting because
Yeah,
it originates from the manga, and so they had to talk while fighting because they want to show epic fights, but they have to have the story progress.
Yeah, on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, just
for
tells you what
example,
happened
like,
with it.
if you look at this bottom fight scene here, and it's like between Shock and Odious, the twins, one of the twins.
Epic.
And it's like, yeah, I wanted him to like sweep his leg and he regain his balance with his hand and do like a spin kick while on his hand, so
Awesome.
so it's like panels like that and stuff. So but I've been lucky. I've been finding like artists because unfortunately the artist that helped create issue 0, we couldn't get back for issue 1. So it's like a whole different issue. One's going to be a whole different art style and everything like that. And like I said, we create and we learn from our creation. So there's going to definitely be a lot of difference and stuff. So, and plus when we originally created issue 0 is the biggest, what do you call it? I guess you can say a spoiler.
Oh,
That's exactly what issue 0 is. It's a spoiler. So that's why once issue 1 is out, issue 0 is like gone. Like I'm not printing it no more.
Kind of like
Because
a pilot episode that went a little over the top so that you could sell the product.
yes, exactly. And what we use for that reference is, for example, how I got into Naruto. I was literally just changing the channel one day, stumbled onto Cartoon Network, and I saw the episode when Rock Lee was fighting Gaara in the exam, and
Nice.
that got me hooked. So right then and there, I was like, "Yo, what is this? Yo, let me go back." And that's when I watched the whole series, and it's because we create this issue 0. We put a lot of dramatic stuff in it, fight scenes and everything, hoping to catch people's eyes to make them go, wait, what's this about? How did this start? And now issue 1 will come out and be like, okay, this is how it begins. And eventually the story will get back to what issue 0 is and continue from there. So that's why it's like, oh man. So when we eventually get back to that, it's going to be a bit different, but nonetheless, the same.
yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, yeah, people that have issue 0 is going to be like it's the biggest spoiler to the comic.
That is a very interesting way to do it, though, because like for anyone who like doesn't know if they want to get into comics or mangas, like to like create their own. If you just create one epic one and push it as hard as you can to see if there's even an audience for it, like that's a really good, um, you know, kind of like MVP. You're like throwing it out there, just trying to get like a test of the market, and if they like it, then you can go, all right, let me break a whole story off of this.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. And it's like now I'm just trying to be patient. Like, since I'm the writer and I've been writing this for a long time, so I have like enough writing to like make 15, 20 issues. So now it's just pretty much just waiting for the art to catch up with the story, So
Yeah.
sometimes I'm saying to myself, maybe I should hire like 2, 3 artists. I'm like, yeah, you can't afford that. So that's not going to happen. So
I have two art teams, but like how we space things out now is it kind of helps my wallet. um, I have Adam Fields that he does like all of our solo series, and I have the same colorist for everything.
mm,
and I have an inker that's the inker for our Seer Chronicles story, because that's like our main story, and then everything else is branched from that. So there's solo series, but like those will all connect at some point. We're like super big on world building. I don't know if you've watched any of this yet, or you've ever seen anything that we posted, or yeah, we're like super big on that. So we have a video game that's coming out next year. That's one of the things we're doing. Yeah. So that connects to our comics in a form. So yeah, there's a lot.
I tried hooking up with an animator, and people have told me that, you know, animation's pretty pricey, you know, and now I'm starting to see how pricey it really is, because I've gotten different numbers. I've gotten for 60 seconds, $2,400, 2,000, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like,
broad price range.
yeah, I'm there like, I don't know what's the average. So I don't know if this person's like overcharging me, not overcharging me. So that's why I'm kind of just been asking around, you know. So it's just like I'm kind of nervous to, you know, really get started into the animation and stuff. And I want to make sure that this person is able to at least capture similar artwork like my artist is doing.
We want to eventually do like animated and live action shows and movies and stuff, based off our comics and just other things that we can think of. I'm actually trying to learn Blender, so I can like, my goal for Blender is to make an animated like movie myself, like a short animated film. So I'm slowly getting there. I don't know animation yet, so I can't help you there. But I can make a donut, but with no sprinkles, so and it looks just like a Simpsons donut. I'm also trying to learn Unity, so I can help our game developer. So it's not just like my friend Scott doing everything. I'm also trying to find another person to help Scott as well. They would like add the textures to the buildings and stuff like that, just so he's not like burdened with every single thing.
Real detail, yeah. Yeah, because I have like my artist, he does pretty much almost everything. He does the coloring, the line work, you know, the writing and everything. You know, I just literally let's write the script out. He reads it, you know, I send it to my editor. He makes sure everything is good, sends it back, and then I send him page by page, box by box, detail in the box how I want it, etc. And you know, from that he's able to bring it to life.
That's cool. I wrote up to the Seer Chronicles. I wrote up to issue 5. 4 and 5 are shorter than the first 3. The third one like hasn't gotten edited yet, so I could be saying that right now, but it could be like chopped in multiple pieces because of Dylan. But 4 and 5 are actually shorter because the 6th one is gonna be, right now I have it. It's like a 100-page graphic novel because that ends 2 arcs. That's probably going to be changed too, but it's still ending those 2 arcs. It might be shorter than what I have right now, but I made like a table instead of actually wrote the script out. I actually just made a table, and I have like motivation of the character, what characters are in that scene, plot point, stuff like that. And then I have what brings them to the next scene. So that plot point would bring you to what, and then I write in like, oh, this is what that's going to go to. I already have basically those tables actually are written all the way to issue 11. There's 12 issues in the first story arc of the Seer Chronicles, so that's actually helping me. Like, so when I go to actually write them, I'll be able to be like, oh, well, I can just look at this table and add the dialogue that needs to be added. Instead of having to think up the entire story. I'll be like, oh, no, this is what's going to happen. I already have it written.
12 issues?
What?
You have 12 issues?
It's 12 for that, and then because it was from over a 1,200-page story that I wrote, and I had to break it down into like comics.
Comics, yeah.
So that whole 1,200-page story is pieces of that are solo series. So I made a timeline like last week for all of our stuff, and like where each year, like where everything would take place. So like the story starts in like this year. I don't want to say the year because that kind of is a spoiler, but it ends in like this 1 year, a couple years, in the future from now. But the story is still going to like continue after that. It's just like a different, story. But yeah, it's like a trilogy, it's a 1,200 page trilogy, but it's way over 1,200 pages, like in comic book form.
How long have you been doing this?
Just yesterday. No, since 2017. Well, 2014, I was writing it, and then I found Dylan 2016, and then like it took a year, like a year to I was like texting him and stuff. Then we met, and all that. We made the company, like the LLC and stuff, and from there we, are here. We have a Comic-Con where I'm slowly losing my voice.
How much longer are you guys going?
Another day.
Wow.
I bought the alcohol that I had to get, so we're drinking tomorrow.
Did you find that weird
rum chata? Yeah. I got the shot glass. I've never had that.
I gotta go look to see if they have it in the stores.
Yeah. I first walked into the liquor store because I don't drink really. So people are going to be able to see me drunk because I don't really drink. Hopefully that doesn't burn my throat, because if my voice isn't gone before then. So where can people find you?
I am on Instagram at E4 Comics. I am on Facebook at E4 Comics as well. You can find the link to my comic at E4 Comics, www.e4comics.company.site. Or normally I just link most of the posts that I post about the comic. I link the website to it as well. So, like I said, I've been talking to a lot of other creators and stuff, and looking to do other things on the side as well. And, like I said, I've been building the following. We're up to about 2,900 followers, and still trying to move forward and stuff, trying to get the word out there. And hopefully the Kickstarter will also help do that as well. So people have been hitting me up for a few years waiting for the next issue, and I think they waited long enough. So, so hopefully I'm definitely not going to be waiting another 4 years to continue the series. Like, I plan to jump right into the next one right after this is done, so. Oh, another secret thing is that we're actually planning. I was part of my character was part of the beatdown, the Indie Dispatch beatdown for last month. It was Shock versus Helios.
Yeah.
I've been talking to the creator of Helios, Sammy from Eminence Comics, and I would like to do like a mini comic of it. Maybe like a 6 to 10 page of it, of the actual fight scene. So look forward to that. Maybe that will come out on the Kickstarters or something. Who knows? We'll see how we can get with that.
If you're looking to get more funding for stuff, you're saying that your wife does crafts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, getting some like little custom made stuff for your comics, because very often, and we've talked about this before, much of the money you can make from comics has nothing to do with the comics, like the physical comics. It's everything else to do with comics. You're talking about animations, but something you can do potentially quickly is just make little crafts that are, even if it's stickers, like people like stickers, like just something that you can make in bulk that like people can support if they already like your stuff and they already own the comic. They don't need a second one. You sell other little things to all the people who already enjoy the comic. And that's a way to fund other comics being made.
Yeah. That's why we're looking also to putting out, shirts, sweaters, and stuff like that as well. Masks, cup images, just things like that. But like I said, it's this year when we really started going hard. So we're learning everything.
Yeah, definitely the little knickknack stuff. Though the reason why I say that, aside from just shirts, because like I know personally, I have about 3,000 shirts. So like, I'm already shirted out. So unless you get like, if you give me a shirt that's super comfortable, I'll wear it. It doesn't matter what it says on it, right? This is an Old Spice shirt. I got this free in like a box of Old Spice like shampoo and stuff. It's so damn comfortable. I wear it all the time. I love this thing. But when it comes to stuff like little knickknacks, like little toys and stuff, like I got like these little things like laying around, just because it's a tiny little thing. I can put it on a bookshelf, right? So like if you get little knickknack stuff, like they have there's a whole company based around this called Loot Crate that they sell like a collection of random things like pins, small little coasters, whatever. But like the little stuff that you can leave around, some people like bookshelf fillers, you know what I mean? Stuff that they can put on their bookshelf that looks cool. So that's the reason why I suggest that one. Because like I said, shirts are good for the fans that really want to wear your merch and show it off. But for like the people that just like the comics and they'd like to show support and don't want to fill their dresser drawers, don't mind filling their bookshelves with cool little, things that are hanging out, just looking at them. So if you find somebody with like a 3D printer, get some characters printed out, or get some cool little fun stuff like that.
Definitely, we're looking to all that. I actually wanted to make a Funko head, but yeah, that's not.
But like those 3D printers, we're still that was something we came up with like 2 years ago, and we're still looking into it. Like we want to buy a 3D printer, have our characters 3D modeled out, which Greg is working on learning 3D modeling. So if he can figure out how to model out our characters in 3D, we can print little figurines of our characters, low res kind of thing. They don't need to be hyper detailed, but little figurines, and then you can ship those out as little, trinkets, sell them for $5-10 a piece. Someone could put those on a shelf. They know it's supporting the creation of the next comic. And so you don't need Pop Funko, but you could literally make your own little bobblehead style, 3D printed thing. And if you don't know how to do the 3D modeling, you can grab someone who does and find someone who does 3D printing. And maybe if we get our 3D printer first, maybe we can be your 3D printer.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I would definitely wouldn't mind giving the money to other indie creators,
Yeah, Mike's talking about the Shibis. Yeah, my brother has a bunch of album artwork that he's getting done for various things he's released, and he has the little Shibis on it. There's like big-headed anime style characters, like when they're super exaggerated facial.
Yeah, I put one of those out. What's funny is that my wife was talking about making stickers of them, but the person that I originally used to make the artwork for the Chibis, was one of like those artists who's like, yeah, I don't want you selling my merch. You can use it to put on your website, blah, 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 but I don't want you using it to like make money off of it. It's like, all right, cool, fair enough. But, now been discussing it, it's just like, all right, so if we're looking to continue to make, like you said, little knickknacks and everything, it's like, if I'm paying you to do my artwork, I should be able to do what I want with it. I get it. Some people want to, some people don't want to. That's fine. That's something that we definitely, from this point out, it's something that we're going to have to settle with side people that we decide to use for the art, merch, and stuff like that. So we don't run.
It's a little bit weird for someone to like if you're paying for artwork, you're paying for artwork. It's not like you're paying for the license to use the artwork. So if you like, I would. If there's any artist that's asking you to do that, you should be like, okay, well, I want a discount on the price then. Like,
yeah,
use it for whatever I want. That's really weird. Like, how else?
Well, some people do that.
Yeah, like, because that's the thing is like, really, if they're not letting you use it for other stuff, you should actually be able to ask for a discount. I would definitely throw that out there and say, listen, I got to make more money so that I can afford to pay you more for more artwork. So either I can use this for merch or I want a discount. That's how I would toss that out there.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that was kind of going through a situation like that, and it was for the artwork for his comic. And someone was helping him draw the characters and everything, and it was like, oh yeah, by the way, just to let you know, I don't want you like using my art to
Yeah,
sell.
especially if that's not said in the beginning too. If it's not said like
Yeah.
when you've been paying for it and there's no formal agreement beforehand, written or verbal, like I would be using whatever I want. Like one of our artists draws what's it called, like the front and side view of our artist or of our characters, and like I want to be able to take that and then 3D model based off of that and then sell little figurines. Like we pay for the art. Like that's all I'm. I don't. If they want to retroactively say, oh, by the way, you can't make characters with that, I'd be like, get out of here. Like we already bought it. Like if
I have to like download the law on it, and stuff, and like read up on it to see.
No,
Like,
unless they said it beforehand, they can't tell you that you can't use it. You paid for the art. It's like paying for someone to put in plumbing, and they're like, yeah, but you can't flush. Like, that's not how artistry works. Like once you pay for a service of artwork, you own that artwork. Like it's yours now. Like my brothers in music, it's the same that. Like especially like for example, because the opposite's also true. Like if you hire a music producer, or sorry, if you work with a music producer and you do not pay them, the producer owns the master. They own the master copy until it's paid for. Once it's paid for, they don't own any of it. Like their name can get written down as someone who produced it, but outside of that, like there's no other obligation for you to like go back to the producer if you paid for a service. So it's the same with all artwork. Like once you paid for the service, unless it was formally agreed upon beforehand, they can't retroactively change the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
But yeah, make some knickknacks.
Yeah, you will.
You can totally come back on our podcast or whatever, because this will be a podcast episode next year at some point. Yeah. So thanks, and yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.